Hey everybody, it's Cayley. I'm back with another What's Sold from last week video. I'm afraid by the time this gets up, it'll be the two last weeks ago, but I'll include dates on everything that I show you that we know exactly what week I'm talking about. So I'll be sharing my numbers of everything that's sold on eBay and Poshmark, and then share some highlighted sales from both of those platforms. That way you guys can look for similar items at your local thrift store to flip online for a profit. I apologize for the lack of consistency in videos. Usually I'm putting up several a week, but I just recovered from being very sick. So I'm back. Hopefully we'll be back in the swing of things and back with more consistent videos.
Okay, so as I mentioned, this happened between September 19th through the 25th. So again, a couple weeks behind, but I did have some really great sales that I wanted to show you. Our sales have been going through the roof since Q4 hit. So I'm really excited to continue sharing what's selling with you. In today's video, you're going to see a lot of fall winter items, so I think it'll be a good example of some things you can pick up that are on trend right now. So in total, I sold 63 items for a gross sales total of $2,503.36. This made my average sale price $39.74. My estimated cost of goods based on an average buy cost was $252. And then my estimated net, less cost of goods and less the fees and shipping costs, was about $1,598.42. On eBay, I sold 47 items, and on Poshmark, I sold just 16. My gross sales on eBay were just over $1,900, which is amazing for 1 week. And then my gross sales on Poshmark were $568. On eBay, I'll show you some of those sales here in a moment. But I had some really good high dollar amount sales, which really brought up this average sale price. So let's dive into some of those now. So first up is this Abercrombie & Fitch men's bootcut jeans. I wanted to show you these because Abercrombie & Fitch has become popular again. I definitely would not say pick up everything Abercrombie & Fitch. Really do your research. But what I found with at least the men's jeans and Abercrombie & Fitch is that the button fly, meaning they have a button up instead of a zipper, do really well and are popular again, and you can make some pretty good money off of it. This one I had listed for $29.98. It sold on an offer for $26.98. This was a really good high dollar sale. This is just by Gap, not typically a brand I pick up. However, Gap makes some really nice pieces, and this was a lamb leather jacket. Towards fall and winter, I will definitely keep an eye out for leather jackets. It's actually something I look for all times throughout the year, but I expect them to sell during this time. And I like to pair leather with the moto style. I find that both of those factors really up the value, even in a brand like Gap. So this is a lamb leather jacket. Specifically, the lamb leather is more sought after in my opinion because it's a lot more soft and supple, and people like it because it can move a little bit more than just your typical leather. So this was lamb leather. It was in beautiful condition, and it was that moto style where you see that asymmetric zip, which is really on trend. All those things paired together, I listed this pretty high at $150. It sold relatively quickly actually on an offer for $135. So really great return on investment. I've mentioned this brand over the last couple of videos. It's one that I love picking up in the men's department because it has a really great sell-through rate. This is Travis Matthew. And as I mentioned before, they don't really sell for a ton, but they are a consistent seller, and so you can recoup your money pretty quickly. This is just a cotton pullover. I had it listed for $24.99, and it sold on an offer for $22.49. And they're kind of known for like their golf aesthetic. Sold a couple Prana items this week, so you'll see another one here in a bit. But this is a pair of women's kind of like hiking pants, size 10, great size. And just in general, hiking pants in both men's and women's in a lot of brands are doing really well right now. But this brand Prana is known for their outdoorsy stuff. and they have a really great following, so I absolutely love picking them up. So these ones I have listed at $29.99, and they did sell very quickly at my full asking price. While we're at it, I'll just go ahead and show you this other Prana piece that sold. This is a men's pair of hiking pants. Men's, as with most brands, usually does better than women's and can yield a higher profit. So these are just a pair of slim fit men's hiking pants, and I had them listed for $34.99. They sold really quickly at full asking price. Athletic wear is doing really well for me right now. I don't know what it is about this time of the year, but athletic wear is still going strong. So this is a pair of Athleta women's bike shorts. Now I come across Athleta like a lot, but I don't pick up hardly anything by them. Typically it's going to be special leggings now, or special shorts. I kind of steer away from pretty much everything else unless I'm getting it at the bins, because this brand's just kind of plummeted. But when it comes to the bike shorts, I think they do extremely well. And so for that reason, I picked these up. I listed them for $24.99 and they sold for full asking price. Here's a brand I hardly ever come across, but when I do, I pick it up. But I thought it was worth showing in case in your area you come across this brand more often than I do. And the brand is Relwyn. This is a men's brand and extremely high sell-through rate. Again, one of those things that doesn't sell for a ton, but you can get your money back pretty quickly. So this is just a plaid button-up shirt. I had it listed for $29.99 and it did sell for full asking price extremely quickly. Here is a Free People sweater. I come across Free People pretty often. Definitely don't pick up everything, but as far as fall and winter, looking for sweaters in this brand I find is pretty profitable. This was an alpaca sweater, super oversized as most of their pieces are. And by looking at the style number on the inside, we learned that it was called the She's All That turtleneck alpaca sweater. Really great condition, had it listed for $49.99 and it did sell for full asking price. I absolutely love this sale. This is a vintage cardigan that I just thought was so pretty. The brand is Bill Atkinson, which is not a brand I'm familiar with, but I picked this up strictly off of aesthetic. It has those lantern sleeves. It had a cinch tie waist, really nice natural looking color, and has some shoulder details. For all those reasons, I picked it up. And after doing some research on the brand, I learned that it was like a 60s, 70s brand. Really gorgeous cardigan. I listed it high at $59.91 and it did sell for full asking price. This is one of those Anthropologie brands that I never come across, but again, wanted to show you in case it is one that is more prominent in your area, and it is Amet and Nandita. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But it was a silk top. I find a lot of the times with Anthropologie brands, if it's an Anthropologie brand paired with silk, you almost can't go wrong with it. And that's true for another piece that I'll show you here in a little bit once we get to the Poshmark sales. So if you're kind of hesitant about picking up Anthropologie because it sits for you, if it's paired with silk, I would say it's worth picking up. I have really good luck with it. So this one is a really gorgeous silk blouse. And as far as I can tell, this brand is known for their silk pieces. This one I had listed for $39.93 and it did sell at full asking price. So here's an example of a brand I don't normally pick up, but when it comes to certain factors, I will. First of all, this was new with tags, but I probably would have picked it up even not being new with tags because I still could have gotten a pretty decent profit off of it. This is a chunky sweater dress, and it was kind of that like heathered ivory color cable knit detail, and then it had kind of a puff sleeve, super chunky too, so it felt really high quality. Again, it's just the brand Loft, but when it's paired with all of those factors, I knew it would be really on trend. I feel like we had this listed for like $40 or $45 with best offer. Regardless, we accepted a best offer of $34 on this, and I am happy that I picked it up. Here's a pair of shoes that we sold. These are just the Nike Men's Flex Control 3 sneakers. I do love picking up Nike pieces, but one thing I would caution you is that you're always looking up the style number on the inside. It's right here, this AJ5911-010. And so I just go onto Google and type Nike and then this, including the dash, and it'll pull up the style name. It only takes a few more seconds, but it makes the biggest difference when you do comps to figure out how much to price your item for and if it's worth picking up. So these did have a slight discoloration on the soles. They still ended up selling on an offer for $27. He's just a really popular brand, so as long as the style has good comps, I definitely pick it up. Okay, these next two are actually bought by the same person, and I accepted an offer on each of them. This is a vintage Metallica dated 1991 Black Album t-shirt, and here is the dating. Really cool shirt. You can see the black does have some fading, but in otherwise really great condition. So the only other one of the shirt that I saw that had sold for $150. And then there was only one available, and I think they had it priced at like $300 or $400. I kind of went in the middle, and I think I priced mine at like $300 or best offer. Someone offered me $200, which I did accept because, again, solds versus available. That was kind of right in the middle, and that is a great return on investment. I picked this up at the bins, so for probably less than $1, and this was in a bin that everyone else had already picked through. The other vintage t-shirt they bought for me is this vintage Malcolm X t-shirt. I almost left this behind at the thrift store because it did have quite a bit of staining. However, I thought it would be worth getting because some of the other Malcolm X vintage t-shirts were going for a lot, and then some of them were going for nothing. But I thought it would be worth the investment. I also picked this one up at the bins, and I gave it a really nice bleach soak, and a lot of that stuff came out and it really brightened it up. Although, as you can see here, I still did put staining throughout just to cover my bases, basically. This was also a single stitch. I can't remember what I had this listed for. I feel like it was $150, and I accepted an offer from that same buyer as the Metallica t-shirt for $100. This buyer has already left me positive feedback on both, so I'm extremely happy with both of those sales. And it just goes to show that you can find a lot of really good vintage t-shirts at the bins. Okay, next up is another pair of athletic wear. This is by Girlfriend Collective, and it's a brand I've really been loving picking up. The brand is kind of like unassuming. If you touch it, it does feel high quality, but it's not as thick as Lululemon, so you just kind of have to look at the tag. But this brand seems to have a really great following, and I especially love picking it up in the leggings. So these were just a pair of pre-owned black full-length leggings. I had them listed for $29.97. They sold on an offer for $26.97, and they sold very quickly. This brand has been moving extremely well for me, and I think when we move into Poshmark, I'll also have another Girlfriend Collective piece to show you, but I would keep your eye out for Girlfriend Collective. Last item on eBay I wanted to show you was this Ralph Lauren women's turtleneck sweater. And the reason I picked this up was because, number one, it was Ralph Lauren. It wasn't really any special material, but it was a really nice ivory color with a peplum detail, a mock turtleneck, and the all-over cable knit. All those factors paired together, I thought this would be a good seller. I had this listed for $29.98. It sold on an offer for $26.98. I would highly recommend you keep an eye out for Ralph Lauren pieces with all over cable knit detail. Okay, and moving on to some of the Poshmark pieces, I sold another athletic piece this week. It was a pair of leggings, and looking at the style name, they were called the Delancey herringbone tights, but I always put leggings because they're really leggings even though the style name includes tights. So this is another one of those more special pieces by Athleta because of the herringbone pattern. Herringbone in this brand seems to do really well. although of course you always want to check your comps. These ended up selling for $55, and for a pair of pre-owned Athleta leggings, I thought that was a really great return on investment. So keep your eye out for herringbone in Athleta, and then always make sure to do your comps on the style number. Here's the other Girlfriend Collective piece. These were another pair of leggings, but these were a crop pre-owned mauve pair of leggings, size extra large, which is a great size. Here's that brand label one more time. And these ones sold very quickly at $25. This is a new brand to me, and I was really happy to pick it up. I feel like maybe I should have priced this higher, but comps for this just were not very high. So I just went with what the market said. Priced mine at I think $30 or $35. It ended up selling on an offer for $27, and this is the brand New Romantics, which I learned is a Free People, I guess, sub brand of Free People. They make really beautiful pieces. This is a very pretty, unique, lacy blouse. So that sold on an offer for $27, but it did sell very quickly. So again, I'm thinking I probably could have priced it a lot higher, although comps just were not showing very high. This is an Anthropologie piece. The brand is Cecilia Prado, and I picked this up because it was Anthropologie. It was a size extra large, and it was a substantial piece. Really pretty sweater dress. And this one I have been sitting on for a little bit, but I did notice that comps were pretty high, so I was willing to wait on a high offer. And I ended up accepting an offer of $83 on this. So if you come across sweater dresses in Cecilia Prado, definitely worth taking a look into. These are a pair of men's Everlane pants, and I wanted to show you these because I don't think a lot of people know that Everlane makes men's pants. These ones we had listed I think for $40 or $35, and they ended up selling for an offer of $32. But make sure if you come across some dress pants, you check and make sure that they are men's or women's. Next up is another Anthropologie piece, and kind of like I was talking about before, when it comes to Anthropologie pieces paired with silk, usually I have really good luck with them. This is actually an older style dress by the brand Maeve. Maeve is a brand I do love picking up. However, I tend to stay away from the older styles, but this one was a substantial piece because it was a dress and it was also silk. So for all of those reasons, I did pick this up, and it sold very quickly for $50. The last three sales I wanted to show you are all shoes, and this one and the next one are both kids shoes, and they're both Western boots. So very rarely do I pick up kids shoes, but when I do, they're usually pretty substantial pieces, and they usually stand out to me. This is a new brand to me. They're called Macy Bean, and I don't even think we got a picture. Oh, there we go. Macy Bean. And this brand seems to be doing pretty well in kids boots. These ones had all over embroidery and were in really excellent condition. I accepted an offer of $40 on this, which is amazing for a pair of pre-owned kids shoes. So keep your eye out for Western shoes, especially real leather shoes in the kids section. It's really easy to just walk through and see if anything stands out to you, and you might actually end up with more profits than the adult shoes. Along those same lines, these are again a pair of kids Western boots. These are a boys Durango pair of boots, and they had American flag on them. These were actually gifted to me from Nikki because her kid grew out of them, and we listed them I think for $40. We accepted an offer of $33. These also sold very quickly. And lastly is a pair of women's boots. These are a pair of Zara leather studded booties, and I thought these were absolutely gorgeous. I did show these in a haul. I've been sitting on them for a couple of months, but I am happy I picked them up because they're so unique. These I accepted an offer of $42 on, and I was really happy with that return on investment. I find a lot of Zara booties do pretty well, especially when they're real leather, and then that studded detail really helped to increase the value.
Alright guys, so that's it for what sold last week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. If you're not already and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you get notified as I make new content. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.